The Nets and the Kings. We're in Sacramento for this one. Less than 2 to go in the first quarter. We're starting early on with Steve Nash and company. It's a 2-point game for Brooklyn. Bruce Brown has it and gives it to Kyrie Irving, and nobody decided to defend him, and the Nets are up a little bit more. Next possession, this time in transition. Yeah, Kyrie spots up and well, that another triple. Bench loves it, so it's part of an 11-0 run for the Nets. Brooklyn up 32-23 now, up by 8. Harden driving, and he hits a step back. Harden's first field goal of the game with less than 2 minutes to go in the half. Wow, so Nets go in to the break leading. What happens in the fourth? Well, the struggles by James Harden would continue. He misses the 3 there, so it's still a 1-point game, and now he's got the ball. Driving, and then he's going to get stolen by Tyrese Halliburton. He's going to take it in transition. Does he keep it? No, he passes it off to Buddy Hield, who hits the 3, and the Kings bench loves it. The Sacramento Kings, let's just say, not a good team, and Harden and company could not take advantage of that. Look at the Kings' record. That was their 19th win of the season. Harden's struggles continue. He talked post-game.
There's no concern. We have different lineups. We got guys in and out of lineups, injuries, whatever. Obviously, we're going through a tough stretch and we're losing. It'd be great if we can, win some of these games while going through that process, but, we're not. So with that being said, we got to just keep finding ways with the guys in and out of lineups. And then hopefully, just finish this until the break. And then hopefully, after the break, we can potentially get our full roster and start making strides in the right direction.
All right, the Nets have been without KD since January 17th, and they have really struggled since then. They're 2-7 in that time, tied for the second worst record in the NBA during that time. The only team with a worse record? Yeah, the Sacramento Kings, who, yes, you just saw, beat them last night. Let's bring in our NBA analyst, Chiney Ogwumike, to talk about the struggling Brooklyn Nets first and foremost. And we got to recognize, yes, they don't have KD, but on paper, Chiney, you would expect Harden and Kyrie to be able to lead the Nets past the Sacramento Kings. What are you seeing from Brooklyn that troubles you the most, especially during the 6-game slide?
Well, hey, Sage. Hey, Matt. What I see from the Brooklyn Nets, particularly when it comes to James Harden, is that he needs to score the basketball, period. In this losing streak, the 6-game losing streak, he's been averaging just about 18 points per game. And last night he had 4, which was his lowest in a very, very long time. So James needs to be James. And I know it's difficult because you're the common thread that the Brooklyn Nets have had to win a championship or at least maintain their positioning. Kyrie is only available on the road. Kevin Durant right now is unavailable based on his injury. And so he's trying to find where he fits in with all these changing circumstances. But he's still a bucket, and that's what we love about James. And so he needs to get back to that. I'd also say this, though. Their defense needs to be better. In that losing streak, they've had the second worst defense in the NBA. That's something I'd be telling them.
Absolutely. That's something that is kind of unforgivable, frankly. By the way, as far as James Harden, he did have 12 assists, so, we're glass half full here on SportsCenter, but inefficient, 2 for 11 from the field. By the way, the Nets, that's their 5th loss this season when leading by double digits, Chiney. They had 4 of them all of last season, so this does feel like a different team. How about the Lakers? They did what the Nets could not do, and that's beat a struggling team without their best player. What have you seen from Anthony Davis since he came back that should give LA more hope here?
Sage, I'm out here in LA. We're getting primed for the Super Bowl, and finally the Lakers are feeling good. And you have to feel good when Anthony Davis comes to play. This is a great opportunity for him to realize that he's the man. I would even compare it a little bit to like Joel Embiid, knowing he's the #1 option. Now he's an MVP candidate. Anthony Davis coming back, if you take away that first game, he came back versus the Nets where he had 8 points in the first quarter, or 8 points overall, and mind you, he only needed to play the first quarter. Since then, that first game he came back, he's been averaging about 29 and 11. This is the beast mode AD that Lakers fans love to see. Also banding together wins with role players involved. Crypto Melo, Staples Melo. He had 24 last night, going 5 for 6 from 3. It was a sight to see. 3 to the dome. So that energy is really contagious out here in Los Angeles when AD plays fierce. And I think that's going to be the best thing when LeBron James comes back. He'll have his confidence back as well.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.